Hey everyone, my name is Captain Stephen Parrish, and I'm going to take you through our newest fire engine here at Columbia County, Engine 17. So Engine 17 is a Pierce Sabre from Pierce Manufacturing. It's a 1,000-gallon tank with a 1,500 GPM pump, so it's plenty of water and plenty of pump capacity that we need. But the biggest thing with this engine, it's different from the current apparatus that we have. It's more functional for the fireground. We tried to increase cab space and compartment space in the cab, and kind of lower all of our hose. And you'll see that as we go through it. One of the biggest changes over the old engine is the size of the cab. So the cab is larger and it has more compartment space. The previous engine, because we've had to up our capability as far as medical and gear and equipment for your active shooter situations, we've had a lot of stuff crammed inside the cab. So there's a lot more space, and we'll show you that as we go through it, but we'll start here at the driver's side. So it's your typical, just like every other fire truck, but everything for the driver is situated around him. All the lights to turn all the emergency lights on are up above him, so he doesn't have to reach across to operate that. And he has a backup camera that he can choose to leave on all the time or come on when he's reversing the truck. We leave it on all the time. It's good for like when you're laying a supply line off the back of the truck. He can see it coming off and know that it's coming off like it's supposed to. So yeah, it's a lot more functional for the driver having everything around him. And then on both sides of the truck, you have what we call our ALS compartments. So both sides of the truck have that. And what that does is allows us to have our medical gear stowed in a compartment, so it's not just laying around in the back of the truck, and it freed up compartment space in the body for more of our fireground equipment. You can come on back here to the back. Get this out of the way. So you can access those compartments in the back. So at the moment, Engine 17 only has 2 personnel on it, but in the future, we look to have 3. So if somebody sitting in the back needed to grab some of the gear out, they could. But if you come in here and look, you can see that there's a lot more space inside the truck now than before. Their gear sitting here because they're staged for a call, but there's more room in the back seat for a third person. And everything has a place. Everything's secured and has its place. There's 2 air packs, actually 3 air packs in the back. There's 2 in the seated position, and we have 1 here for the driver. When he needs to get dressed, it's easy access, so he didn't have to climb up in the truck. That's the kind of the theme for this truck, is we're trying to limit the amount of time someone has to climb up on the truck to get something, right? Because that, it speeds up getting hose off the truck and getting dressed, and also it limits injuries having to climb up and down the truck while you're in gear. So more room in the cab, which is great, and it keeps all of the stuff that doesn't need to be in the back out of the back. So coming down to the pump panel, the cross lays are positioned a little bit lower than previous trucks, and what that does is allows us to come to the truck and pull the hose off on your shoulder versus having to step up on the side. The pump panel in this operation is very similar to all our other trucks. It just looks a little bit different because of the being made by Pierce. A lot of other trucks are E1s, but all the stuff functions the same. It still has an electronic pressure governor. It's just a different brand than some of the other trucks. This truck has its 2.5 cross lay here, whereas a lot of our trucks have it in the back. So it has all of our pre-connected lines right here together. So you don't have to go over the back, and what that does is that helps increase the distance that we can reach the house. So you did not have to come off the back. So if the pump panel is positioned here and the house is there, it's a quicker route to the house. On the pump panel, the driver operator has lights that he can work here, so he can operate the scene lights that are on the truck from the side of the truck, so he doesn't have to go back to the cab to do that. And then it has a button for the air horn. So we use that in 2 situations. When we're ready to charge a hydrant, he can push that. He didn't have to go to the front, and if we have to evacuate. So it keeps him here, so he didn't have to go back and forth when he's operating. So that saves time and makes him more efficient, all right? So we'll go to our next compartment. Is our engineer's compartment. and so it's there to help the driver. And that's why we call it engineer's compartment. So anything he needs as far as nozzles and appliances and extra hose is all right here. And talking about hose, this is what's different too on this engine is a tray, and you'll see it on both sides of the truck. That tray is here, and we have a 3-inch hose on both sides, and that's to one thing we do differently here at Columbia County is we try to maximize our manpower. So the second due engine typically will, what we call marry up. The crews will work together, and then we'll marry up the pumps as far as water supply. So if he's receiving water on this side, he'll lay that line out to the second due engine, and so it just makes it a quick deployment, and he doesn't have to hook anything up. Sorry, hooked up. And on the other side, you'll see in a minute, we use that for giving water. So all the hoses here, extra hose that we need, and tools and appliances, whatever the driver needs or engineer needs when he is operating on the scene is all located in this compartment. Another thing that is different is we keep all of our spare cylinders on this side of the truck. So any of the spare SCBA cylinders on this side. You'll see in a minute, we took the extinguishers out of a compartment and put it in one of these cylinder compartments. And we'll see that on the other side. But that just helps free up the space as well. All right, the big thing in this compartment is our high-rise equipment. So we have two 2-inch hose packs at 75 feet each section, and a bag of all the appliances. While there are no high-rises in Engine 17's first due area, they are responding to Amazon. And so that's a 5-story, 110-foot building, and those hose packs are used there. And then also they cover a lot in town. So we have their hotels and stuff that they would use that for. And these can also be used in your commercial buildings or anytime we need to extend the line. So they're here, and again, they're able to be deployed quickly off the truck. You don't have to grab up. The previous truck, they were on the back of the truck, they had to climb up to get it, so we can get those off quickly and get them deployed. And yeah, there's a few other things, some more appliances, and a utility rope bag is up there as well. In the back compartment, we have some more hand tools, toolbox, some oil dry, some cribbing, and a reciprocating saw, things that we would need on like vehicle accidents. The fan, or the ventilation fan, is an upgrade. So Engine 17 and Engine 7 both have these fans now. They're battery operated, so they can run off the same batteries if you have like a cordless drill, or we can plug it up to a generator. And so what that does is when we're going to, let's say, a fire alarm and we want to ventilate a house for someone that was cooking, we don't have to run a gas-powered engine and then put CO inside the house. So this is a cleaner way and a more efficient way of carrying our positive pressure fans. And what it also does, it's smaller. If you compare it to one of our gas-powered fans, it has a smaller footprint inside the compartment, which allows us to carry more things inside the compartment. So that's something new that we're going to and has really improved our operations there. If we come down to the back, you'll see probably the biggest difference in our apparatus. So this engine has what we call a low hose bed. And you can see that it's considerably lower than a lot of other fire engines in the county. To give you a point of reference, this top here would have been where the old hose bed would have been. That's how high it would have been. Having this low hose bed allows us to get hose off the truck faster. Brings our 5-inch down so you don't have to climb up to grab it. Our 3-inch hose, which we use for extending hose into a warehouse, or sometimes out here in the rural areas, extending a hose down a driveway. Each of these sections are able to be deployed on your shoulder, and because of the low height, I can come here and deploy it directly on my shoulder and take it where I need to go. And because the 2.5 cross lay is on the side of the truck, it allowed us to have what we call a dead load, and we call it a dead load because it's not connected to anything, but it can connect to this rear discharge, and this is a 300-foot 188 attack line. So if we need to extend down a driveway, or the house has a far setback or a long driveway, we can deploy this hose and still have our working length of 100 to 150 feet up to the house without having to extend this 3-inch off. So that just helps deploy hose faster and gives us a lot more capability than we had with the previous trucks. Coming off the back, you have a discharge that we can hook the 3-inch up to, or this attack line. And then it has a direct fill line that goes directly into the tank for filling up after calls or during water shuttle operations. In this back compartment is our 1-inch booster line, or forestry line. So what we use that for is any woods fires or trash fires or anything like that. Something small so we can deploy quickly, especially for woods fire when it's moving fast with wind. We can get this off the truck and deploy it quickly. If we come around to the other side, so with the ladders, we're kind of getting back to an older spec in the fire service with your ladders of having them low to the ground and not in a ladder tunnel. So what that does is it allows the ladder to be deployed quicker, because when we're deploying ladders, we're usually from an engine's perspective, you're usually deploying it to rescue someone. So we want to be able to get it off quickly. We typically do a 1-person carry and throw. So when they disconnect it here, they can take it directly off the truck onto their shoulder quickly and deploy it. And also, being outside the truck, it's easier to clean them, and the driver can inspect them daily and see, if there's anything wrong with the ladder versus it being hidden in a tunnel. On this side, we've downsized the generator because we are carrying a fan that runs off batteries, and we have LED portable scene lights, and we have LED lights that's run off the truck. The only thing we need this generator for is to run the reciprocating saw, some scene lights, and the fan if the batteries die. So you don't really need a bigger generator, and that frees up space inside the compartment. Inside this compartment, we have some cones, some electrical cords, water for rehab, your hydrant bag, which when we stop at a hydrant to lay the supply line off, you'll grab this bag, and it has everything you need. So when the truck drives away from the hydrant, everything you need to hook up the hydrant is in that bag with you, ready to go. And then on this side, in these wheel well compartments, we have our 2 extinguishers, our ABC extinguishers, and then our water extinguishers. And so, one, it keeps them secure, because we've had, when they're stuck in these compartments, they may fall over or they get kind of crowded with everything in there. When these compartments, especially the water extinguishers, they're easy to pull off and deploy quickly when you need it. So that really saves some compartment space as well. In this compartment up front, in the older engine, this is where we had to have all of our medical equipment. And with it being in the cab now, we cleared that up. So you have your chainsaw, chaps, extra fuel, helmet, eye protection, hearing protection, everything you need for clearing roads and removing trees from houses and vehicles. All that stuff is there. And of course, we use this for roof ventilation as well. So all that is there together in one compartment. And then on this side of the pump panel, you have your crosslay, because we can pull the crosslays from both sides. You have your other tray for your 3-inch, and this is for if you're needing to give your tank to another engine, which is a great capability to have over what we've had in the past. And then on the back of the truck, we've mounted a what we call a Georgia hook, or a roof hook for pulling sealing. But it's mounted in a way that when the firefighter gets off the truck, it's here ready to grab and deploy quickly. And then you have your spanner wrenches and your hydrant wrenches over here as well. So this is not something that's just loose in the compartment. It's ready to go if you need to deploy it. And then we look here in the back. On this side, you have your vest and helmet if there's an active shooter situation. And then our Halligan and axe are married up in a bracket. So you don't have to go back to a compartment to grab it or walk around. So if the officer will be responsible for that tool, he wouldn't have to go around the driver's side of the truck to grab it. He can come back here, pull it out like so, and he's ready to go to the scene. So that's another improvement. It just makes operations faster for any incidents that we have. And then on this side again, you have your other medical compartment. Because we carry a lot of medical equipment now, our medical care has increased, and we have all the way up to capabilities for a paramedic. So we have our cardiac monitor, our medical bag with all of our drugs in it on this side. So it takes a lot of space to carry all that equipment. So having those two compartments really increases the space on the truck of what we can carry. And then on the officer side of the truck, he has his computer is positioned to where when he's sitting in the truck, he doesn't have to look back. It's right here. So on the computer, it has our CAD. So it shows where the call's at, any call notes, and it has a mapping feature to GPS them to the incident. So anything that the officer needs to know about the call is on the computer. And then he has his thermal imaging device or TIC mounted up front with a charger. So it's easy to access and grab. Because once you're in the seat, you have your seat belt on, you have your shoulder straps for your air pack, it's hard to turn around. So having it up front, he can just reach forward, grab it, clip it to his air pack, and he can get off the truck ready to go. And then around the front, just like all of our apparatus, we have our front jump lines, 100 feet of 1 3/4 that we use for vehicle fires, or we can use it for an additional line on a structure fire. Looking up front, you have a spotlight on the brow of the truck, so lighting up scenes. So this truck can light up 360 degrees around the truck for scene lighting and visibility when it's dark outside on scenes, which is a great tool to have, especially some of the areas out here that they run can get pretty dark at night. So that's pretty much it of the truck. You know, it really, as you can see, the whole theme of this was making it more functional for the fireground and the firefighter. The driver, everything he has and where he sits and operates is functional, keeps everything together. Same thing for the officer. Everything, when an officer's in the seat, everything he needs is within reach while he's in the seat. And then when they come off the truck, the hose, the tools are all positioned in a way so that we can get them off quicker and safer and handle these scenes a lot faster for the public. So it's a great addition to our fleet. As we get more and more trucks coming in over the next couple of years, that is the theme that we're working on, especially in the apparatus committee, is how can we make these apparatus more functional and safer to operate? And so far it's working out pretty good. So thanks for checking this out, and you know, hopefully this truck serves the citizens well over the next several years, and you know, we're very thankful for having it here in addition to our department.